Today is Chapter 3, Section 3. We're learning about the slope of a line. If you remember this guy from algebra, when I think of Algebra 1, I always think of y equals mx plus b. If you remember him, that is our slope. And we're going to use two different ways to find slope in this particular section, and I'm going to talk about those next. So one way to find slope is to put the equation in slope-intercept form, to rearrange the equation so that the letter y is by itself, and then you'll easily be able to see what your slope is. The other way, if you remember, is by using the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus y, or x2 minus x1. So sometimes you're going to be given a point, and you're going to use the point then in that slope formula. So let's do our first example. This one says find the slope of the following line. So I have 3x minus 3y is equal to 5. I'll give you a moment to write that down. With this, we're not given 2 points. We're given this equation. So our whole goal is to get the letter y, this guy right here. We want to get him by itself. So what we're going to do first is move our x's to the other side. So we're going to subtract 3x and subtract 3x. I'm left with negative 3y on this side. Don't forget to bring that minus down. Minus and negative are kind of the same thing. Is equal to negative 3x, and it's a plus 5. Negative 3x plus 5. We have one more step because y is not totally by itself. Right now that negative 3 is connected to it. So we're going to divide everything by negative 3 to move it to the other side. So we end up with the following equation. I'm going to write it over here. Y is equal to negative 3 divided by negative 3. Those just cancel. It's a positive 1. I'll go ahead and write it so you can see it. And then I'm just going to leave this as minus and then 5 over 3. I see that this here was plus, but I used minus because my positive 5 was being divided by a negative 3. And that gives you a minus sign. So we have it in slope-intercept form now. Y is equal to mx plus b. And this says find the slope of the line. Well, the slope is your m right here. And so for your final answer, you'd write the slope is 1. So this guy would be going up 1 and then over 1 if you were graphing him, up 1 and then over 1. So it'd have a positive slope going something like that. Our next example and last example looks like this. Find the slope of the following 2 points. So this one we're actually going to use the formula for. I'll write it over here. M is equal to y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. If I remember correctly, my students last year said they used this in geometry, so hopefully this isn't too far outside of your memory. And the first point always has your x and your y, and your second point has your second x and y. So I'm going to use those numbers to plug into the formula. So m is equal to, instead of writing y2, I'm going to write the number 3 minus, instead of y1, I'm going to write negative 1. Instead of x2, I'm going to write negative 2 minus, instead of x1, I write 4. And then you actually do the addition or subtraction. 3 minus a negative 1 means I'm really adding. So that gives me a 4 on top. And then negative 2 minus 4 gives me a negative 6. Please make sure you simplify any fraction that you can. These are both even numbers. I can divide them both by 2. So your final answer for your slope, 4 divided by 2 is 2. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. So you'd write the slope of those 2 points is equal to negative 2/3. So that one would be going down 2 and over 3. So it would be a slope that kind of looks like that, a negative slope, decreasing. This is your try on the own problem. Okay, it says find the value of k so that the line through the given points has slope m. So your hint, you're going to use this formula, m is equal to y2 minus y1, oopsies, that's not what I want, where's my eraser, y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. I have the variable m, y2, y1, x2, x1. Here's something you'll plug in, something you'll plug in, something you'll plug in, something you'll plug in, something you'll plug in. There's 5 places right here. There's 5 things for you to plug in. See if you can find the value of k. I want to see who's willing to take a risk and problem solve this. Good luck.